My name is Daniel Reed. I'm 29 years old, a software developer who believes success should come slow and love should stay forever. I live in a small one-bedroom apartment with thin walls and a noisy fridge. It isn't much, but it's honest. I used to think that was enough. Dan, you're working again? Lily asked one night, leaning against the kitchen counter. I'm almost done, I said, typing fast. This overtime bonus will cover your last MBA payment. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You don't have to do that. I want to, I replied. We're building our future, right? She walked over and kissed my forehead. Right. I believed her. For 5 years, I loved Lily Carter. I loved her messy notes on the fridge. I loved how she said my name when she was tired. I loved the way she dreamed big. You're going to be amazing at Novatech, I told her the day she got promoted. She laughed. It's just a junior management role. It's the first step, I said. I'll cheer from the sidelines. I don't want you on the sidelines forever, Dan. I thought she meant she wanted me beside her. I didn't realize she meant ahead of her. A few weeks later, she started mentioning her CEO. Victor thinks the market will shift next quarter, she said during dinner. Victor? I asked. My CEO, Victor Lang, is brilliant. I forced a smile. Brilliant, huh? He built Novatech from nothing, she said. He's only 38. That's impressive. He says I have leadership potential. That's good, I said, even though something twisted in my chest. She talked about him more after that. Victor says confidence is everything. Victor says people either lead or get left behind. Victor says I shouldn't limit myself. One night I joked, does Victor breathe for you too? She didn't laugh. You're being insecure. I'm not, I said quickly. I'm proud of you. But I was insecure. I just didn't want to admit it. Marcus noticed. You look like crap, Marcus said at work, tossing a stress ball at me. Thanks, I muttered. What's going on? Nothing. Lily. I sighed. She talks about her CEO a lot. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Rich guy. Very. Charismatic. Apparently. He leaned back. You trust her? I do. He stuttered me. Then stop looking like someone stole your lunch money. I tried. When Lily told me about the company gala, she sounded excited. It's a big deal, Dan, she said. Executives, investors, media. Can I come? I asked. It's mostly internal. I could just show up after, I said. Surprise you. She hesitated. You don't have to. I want to. That night, I wore my only suit. I felt nervous but proud. I imagined her introducing me. This is my fiancée, Daniel. I arrived at the hotel ballroom and saw her across the room. She looked stunning in a silver dress. For a second, I forgot every doubt. I walked closer, but then I heard my name. Daniel is sweet, Lily said. I stopped. But, a man's voice asked smoothly. But he's not going anywhere, she said softly. He's comfortable being average. The man chuckled. And you're not? No, she said. I'm not. My chest tightened. I peeked around a pillar. Victor Lang stood in front of her. Tall, confident, holding a glass of champagne like he owned the world. You deserve someone who matches your ambition, he told her. She nodded. I know. I felt like the floor disappeared under me. I stepped forward before I could think. Hey. Lily froze. Daniel. Victor looked me up and down. You must be Daniel. I am, I said, forcing my voice steady. Victor offered his hand. Victor Lang. I shook it. His grip was firm, controlled. Nice event, I said. Thank you, he replied. We value driven people here. Lily avoided my eyes. Dan, what are you doing here? I wanted to surprise you. She swallowed. We need to talk. Now. I asked. Yes. We stepped outside into the quiet hallway. How long? I asked. Don't do this, she said. Answer me. She looked at the floor. Nothing happened. But you want it to. She didn't deny it. I heard what you said, I whispered. About me going nowhere. Her eyes filled with guilt. Daniel, you're kind. You're stable. But I need more. More than 5 years. It's not about time, she said. It's about growth. I worked overtime for your MBA, I said. I believed in you. I know, she replied, voice shaking. But Victor believes I can lead. He pushes me. I push you. You support me, she corrected. That's different. The words felt like knives. So what now? I asked. She took off her engagement ring slowly. The tiny diamond caught the hallway light. I can't marry you, she said. My hands trembled. Because I'm not rich. Because you're not hungry, she said. I need someone who matches my ambition. I stared at the ring in her palm. Is it him? I asked. She didn't answer. That was enough. I loved you, I said. I know, she whispered. She placed the ring in my hand. I'm sorry. Then she walked away. I stood there alone, staring at the ring. 5 years reduced to a small circle of silver. Marcus called me later. How'd the gala go? She left me, I said. What? For her CEO. Silence. Then, I'm coming over. I hung up and sat in my apartment. The fridge hummed like always. The walls were still thin. Nothing had changed. Everything had changed. I walked to the kitchen and opened the trash can. Without thinking, I dropped the ring inside. It hit the bottom with a dull sound. That's it, I muttered. That's what I'm worth. I closed the lid. I stood there for 10 seconds. Then I opened it again. Damn it, I whispered. I dug through coffee grounds and paper towels until I found it. I washed it under the sink and held it tight. You think I'm not going anyway? I said to the empty room. My reflection in the dark window looked small. I'll prove you wrong, I whispered. And for the first time that night, my heartbreak turned into something else. Something sharper. I stopped sleeping after Lily left. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice. You're not going anywhere. The words played in my head like a broken alarm. Marcus noticed first. You look worse than last week, he said, dropping into the chair across from me at work. I'm fine, I muttered. You have dark circles under your eyes. That's not fine. I just need time. He leaned forward. You're taking this too hard. She said I'm average. So what if she's right? Marcus frowned. You built 3 internal tools this year. That nobody cares about. I care, he snapped. That's not the same. He crossed his arms. You think money equals worth. I think power equals respect, I said quietly. And you didn't have it. No, that was the truth I hated most. I wasn't poor. I wasn't lazy. But I wasn't impressive. I was safe. Safe didn't win. 3 days later, I stood outside Novatech's glass tower. My hands were sweating. Marcus had told me not to go. Don't beg, he warned. You'll regret it. I'm not begging, I lied. Inside, everything looked polished and expensive. I felt small in my worn jacket. The receptionist smiled. Can I help you? I'm here to see Lily Carter. Do you have an appointment? She'll want to see me. She hesitated, then called upstairs. Minutes later, Lily stepped out of the elevator. Daniel, she said sharply. What are you doing here? Can we talk? She glanced around. Make it quick. We stepped into a quiet meeting room. I just need to understand, I said. Was I really that bad? She sighed. This isn't about bad. Then what? You're comfortable. I work 2 jobs for you. You work hard? Yes, she said. But you never aimed higher. I aimed for us. That's the problem, she replied. Victor believes in my potential. You never did. The words hit harder than anything at the gala. I paid for your MBA, I whispered. You supported me, she said, but you didn't challenge me. So loving you wasn't enough. She looked away. Love isn't everything. Is he? I asked. He pushes me to think bigger. I could have done that. But you didn't, she said softly. Silence filled the room. I would have grown, I said. For you. She shook her head. You should grow for yourself. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Is there any chance? She hesitated, then hardened her expression. No. That one word crushed whatever hope I had left. I walked out of the building feeling hollow. That night, I sat in my apartment staring at the engagement ring on the table. You're ordinary, I muttered to myself. My phone buzzed. It was Ryan, Lily's older brother. Hey, he said awkwardly. Did she send you? No, I heard what happened. Congratulations, I replied. Your sister upgraded. Don't do that, he said. You were good to her. Was. He lowered his voice. Victor isn't what he seems. What does that mean? He plays favorites, promises promotions, drops people when they're used up. Why tell me? Because I don't trust him. I laughed bitterly. That's not my problem anymore. Maybe it should be, he said before hanging up. His words stuck with me. For a week, I barely functioned. I skipped meals. I ignored calls. I replayed every conversation I ever had with Lily. Then one morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, enough. I didn't like the man staring back. I opened my laptop and searched for advanced certifications. Cloud architecture, AI systems, financial modeling. I read aloud. If power mattered, I would learn how it worked. Marcus raised an eyebrow when I told him. You're serious? Yes. You're going to out-CEO the CEO. I'm going to stop being small. He smirked. That's the first smart thing you've said in weeks. I used my savings to enroll in 2 intensive programs. I started freelancing at night. Sleep became optional. Growth became mandatory. That's when I met Evelyn Shaw. She sat across from me at a small investment seminar. You're asking the wrong question, she said after I spoke about tech trends. What's the right one? I asked. You're asking how to make money. You should ask how money moves. I studied her. And you know. I do, she replied calmly. I manage portfolios. I'm just a developer. She smiled slightly. Everyone with ambition starts as something. I don't have ambition, I admitted. Then why are you here? I didn't answer. She leaned forward. If you want power, learn how money moves. Skills build income. Ownership builds influence. Ownership. Shares. Equity. Control. The word control echoed in my mind. I don't have much capital. Then build it, she said simply. I started meeting her weekly. She challenged me constantly. Why are you investing in this? She asked once. Because it's trending. That's not strategy. That's emotion. I'm learning. Good, she said. Stay cold. Cold. I wasn't used to that. One night, after finishing a freelance contract, I picked up the engagement ring again. Instead of throwing it away, I bought a small black frame. Marcus watched as I mounted it on my wall. That's creepy, he said. It's motivation, I replied. You're serious? Yes. What does it remind you of? That I was left behind. And I won't be again. Months passed. My savings grew. My skills sharpened. I felt different, less desperate, more focused. Then Evelyn called me one evening. Have you seen the news? She asked. No. Why? Novatech is preparing for an IPO. My heart skipped. Public. I asked. Yes. Early investors will make a fortune. I stared at the framed ring on my wall. Is it a good investment? I asked carefully. She paused. Financially, potentially, emotionally, I don't know. I'm done being emotional, I said. Then do your research. After we hung up, I opened my laptop and read every article I could find. Novatech was expanding fast. Victor Lang was everywhere in interviews. Lily stood beside him in photos, smiling. I felt a familiar ache, but it didn't control me this time. I touched the glass over the ring. If I can't stand beside her, I whispered, staring at Victor's face on my screen, I'll stand above her. 2 years changed me. Sleep is optional, I told Marcus one night as we packed up from work. You're obsessed, he replied. I'm focused. You built that analytics tool in 6 months. That's not normal. It works, I said. Clients are paying. My startup tool started small. A plugin that helped mid-sized companies track user behavior in real time. I pitched it everywhere. Why should I trust you? One client asked over video call. Because I built it to solve a problem I had, I said. It saves time. It saves money. And if it fails, I fix it, I answered. It didn't fail. Money started coming in. Not millions. Not yet. But enough. Marcus stayed at my spreadsheet one evening. You're saving 80% of your income. I don't need much. You don't date. You don't travel. You barely eat. I'm investing. In Novatech. Among other things. Novatech's IPO launched strong. Then 3 months later, headlines hit. Internal reporting inconsistencies. Executive bonus controversy. Stock dipped. Evelyn called me. This is your window. Is it safe? I asked. Safe isn't the word. Strategic is. What aren't they telling the public? She paused. There are rumors. That's when Ryan called again. You saw the news? He asked. Yes. It's worse than that, he said quietly. What do you mean? I've seen internal emails. Victor adjusts projections before investor calls. Adjusts how? He paints a prettier picture. Is it illegal? It's gray, he said, but it won't stay gray forever. I lean back in my chair. Why tell me this? Because Lily is tied to him now. The mention of her name still tightened my chest. How is she? I asked before I could stop myself. She looks tired, he said. Victor controls everything. Does she know? I don't think she wants to. After we hung up, I sat in silence. Expose him, I thought. Blow it up. But another voice answered, or buy in low and wait. I called Evelyn. If leadership is unstable, I asked, what happens long term? If the board intervenes, the company survives, she said. If not, it collapses. And shareholders, they gain influence if they hold enough. How much is enough? She didn't hesitate. 5% minimum to be heard. 10 to be feared. I looked at my numbers. I can reach 5, I said. Then decide why you're doing it, she replied. Revenge is expensive. It's not revenge. Then what? Control. That night, my phone rang at 1:17 a.m. I stayed at the screen. Lily. I almost didn't answer. Hello. Daniel. Her voice sounded smaller than I remembered. Yes. Are you doing well? I stared at my dark ceiling. I'm fine. That's good. Silence. How are you? I asked. I'm busy, she said. Things are complicated. With Victor. Another pause. Is under pressure. From investors. Yes. You knew what you were signing up for. That's not fair, she snapped. I didn't mean. I wanted to see if you were okay. I am. You sound different. I'm different. She breathed in slowly. Sometimes I wonder. Wonder what? If I made the right choice. I swallowed. You did what you wanted. That's not the same thing. Why are you calling me, Lily? I don't know, she admitted. Then figure it out before you dial my number again. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but not from heartbreak. From clarity. The next morning, I transferred the largest sum of money I had ever moved. Evelyn called immediately. You're certain? Yes. This makes you vulnerable. I've been vulnerable. Daniel, she said calmly, once you cross this line, you're not the same man. I already crossed it. Weeks passed. I accumulated shares quietly through different channels. Marcus watched me sign documents at my kitchen table. You're turning into the villain, he said with a half smile. I'm not a villain. You're buying power in the company that broke your heart. I'm buying influence. That's what villains say. I smirked. Then I'll be a well-dressed one. My stake crossed 5%. Evelyn sent one final confirmation email. You are now a significant minority shareholder. I stayed at the words for a long time. Ryan called again. Board meeting next month, he said. Tension is high. Good. You sound cold. I learned from the best. Victor won't like this. He doesn't have to. A week later, I received a formal invitation to attend as a shareholder. I put on a new suit this time. Tailored. Sharp. Marcus whistled. Look at you. I'm just attending a meeting. At the place you once got dumped. I remember. Ready? No, I said honestly. But I'm going anyway. When I walked into Novatech's headquarters, no one recognized me at first. The lobby was the same. Polished floors. Glass walls. But I wasn't the same man who stood there begging 2 years ago. A board assistant approached me. Name? Daniel Reed. She scanned her tablet. Her eyes widened slightly. Right this way, Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed. I followed her into the boardroom. Victor sat at the head of the table. Lily sat 2 seats away from him. She looked up and froze. Victor's jaw tightened. You? I met his eyes calmly. Good morning. Whispers spread around the table. An older man with silver hair studied me carefully. I'm Harold Bennett, he said. Board member. Daniel Reed, I replied. Victor forced a thin smile. To what do we owe the pleasure? Before I could answer, the assistant cleared her throat. We have a new major shareholder joining us today. Silence fell. All eyes turned to me. I took a seat slowly. For the record, the assistant continued, Mr. Daniel Reed now holds a 5.2% stake in Novatech. Victor's fingers tightened around his pen. Lily stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. I folded my hands on the table. For the first time in years, I wasn't standing outside the glass. I was inside. And this time, I wasn't asking to be let in. The air in the boardroom felt sharp enough to cut skin. Victor didn't look away from me. You? He said again, slower this time. Yes, I replied calmly. Me. Harold cleared his throat. Let's proceed. Victor leaned back. I wasn't aware Mr. Reed had such interest in Novatech. I believe in growth, I said. His eyes narrowed. Of course you do. The meeting moved to quarterly projections. Victor spoke smoothly. Our revenue remains strong. Market confidence is stable. I waited until he finished. I have concerns, I said. Several heads turned. Victor smiled thinly. Concerns? Yes. I'd like to request a formal audit of internal projections versus reported earnings. The room went silent. Victor's tone sharpened. On what basis? Transparency, I answered. That's a serious request. It's a serious company. Harold looked at me carefully. Do you have supporting reasons? I've reviewed public statements against employer-level data trends, I said. They don't align. Victor's voice cooled. That's speculation. It's caution. The meeting ended without a vote, but the seed was planted. Outside the room, a woman stepped into my path. You must be Daniel, she said. Yes. I'm Sophie Lang. Victor's sister. She gave a dry laugh. Unfortunately. What do you want? Balance, she said. My brother has always believed rules are flexible. You have proof. I have patterns, she replied, and people who are tired. Why help me? Because someone needs to remind him he's not untouchable. Later that evening, Ryan called. You pushed for an audit? He asked. Yes. He's furious. Good. Daniel, be careful. He doesn't lose quietly. I'm not afraid of him. Maybe you should be. The board scheduled a formal review 2 weeks later. Pressure built fast. Lily found me in the hallway after another tense meeting. Can we talk? She asked. I nodded. We stepped into an empty conference room. Is this revenge? She asked softly. No, I said. This is growth. She folded her arms. You're tearing everything down. I'm asking questions. You know what this will do to the company. I know what dishonesty does. She looked exhausted. You don't understand. Then explain. She hesitated. Victor doesn't tolerate weakness. That's not leadership. He pushed me, she said. He controlled every presentation, every number. If I disagreed, he reminded me who signed my checks. Why stay? Because I thought power meant safety. And now I'm not sure. For a second, I saw the woman I once loved. You could step away, I said, and admit I was wrong. Yes. She looked at me like that answer hurt more than anything. If this explodes, she whispered, I'll go down with him. I felt the old instinct rise, protect her, but I forced myself to stay steady. You made your choices, I said quietly. So did you, she replied. The audit began. Emails surfaced. Adjusted projections. Internal warnings ignored. Victor called an emergency board meeting. This is sabotage, he said, pointing at me. A personal vendetta disguised as concern. I held his gaze. If it's false, the audit will clear you. You manipulated sentiment, he snapped. I asked for numbers. Harold spoke firmly. Mr. Lang, the discrepancies are real. Victor's confidence cracked for the first time. These were strategic adjustments, he argued. They were misrepresentations, Harold replied. Stock prices dipped within hours of leaked rumors. News outlets swarmed the building. In the final closed-door session, tension felt unbearable. Victor slammed his hand on the table. You think you can replace me? This isn't about replacing you, I said. It's about accountability. You were nothing 2 years ago. And now I'm here. Silence stretched. Harold exhaled slowly. The board has reviewed the findings. We are asking for your resignation. Victor stared at each of us. You're making a mistake, he said. No, Harold replied. We're correcting one. Victor looked at me lost. This is your doing. I reached into my pocket. My fingers wrapped around cold metal. Slowly, I placed Lily's engagement ring on the table between us. I once thought power meant taking something from someone else, I said. I was wrong. Victor's expression hardened. This won't end the way you think. It already has, I replied. He stood abruptly. You think you've won. I didn't answer out loud. Security escorted him out minutes later. The room felt strangely quiet after he left. Lily remained seated, staring at the table. Harold turned to me. You pushed hard. I pushed for truth. He nodded. The company will stabilize. It always does. As the others filed out, Lily finally spoke. You didn't save me, she said. I didn't come to. She looked at the ring on the table. Why bring that? To remind myself why I started. And why did you? Because I was afraid of being small. She met my eyes. And now I'm not. She swallowed, then walked away without another word. I stayed in the empty boardroom for a moment longer. The stock would recover. The headlines would fade. The company would rebuild. Victor lost his throne. But as I picked up the ring and slipped it back into my pocket, I realized something else. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt steady. When Victor whispered, You think you've won? I understood something he didn't. I already did. Novatech didn't collapse. It bent, shook, then steadied. Harold called me into his office a week after Victor resigned. Sit down, Daniel, he said. I took the chair across from him. You pushed for accountability, he continued. Now help us rebuild. I'm not a CEO, I replied. You're an owner, he corrected. That matters. I don't want power for ego. Good, he said. Then use it for structure. We spent hours reviewing policies. Transparency must be automatic, I said. Agreed. No inflated projections. Agreed. No fee-based leadership. Harold stuttered me. You've changed. I had to. He nodded slowly. Leadership isn't dominance. It's responsibility. I'm still learning. That's why you'll be fine. Marcus visited my new office later that day. You look terrifying behind that desk, he joked. I feel tired. You won. I stabilized. I corrected. He grinned. That's growth. Ryan called that night. She's stepping down, he said quietly. Lily. Yes. Not fired. Just moved out of executive control. Is she okay? She's quieter. I didn't know what to say. Victor's investigation moved fast. Financial authorities started asking questions. News anchors debated his legacy. Evelyn sat across from me at dinner one evening. You're calmer, she observed. I'm less desperate. That's attractive, she said softly. I looked up. Attractive. She didn't look away. Confidence without arrogance is rare. I used to think money was power. And now I think discipline is. She smiled. You've grown. Because you pushed me. I guided you, she corrected. You chose to walk. We sat in comfortable silence. You're not chasing ghosts anymore, she added. No, I said. I'm building something real. A week later, Lily texted me. Can we talk? One last time. I stayed at the message for a long time before replying. We met at a quiet cafe near the water. She looked different. Less polished. More human. Hi, she said. Hi. We sat across from each other. I chose the wrong man, she said softly. The words hung between us. I studied her face. Did you? She frowned. Victor wasn't what I thought. He showed you who he was. I ignored it. Why? Because he represented everything I was chasing. And what were you chasing? Status, she admitted. Validation. I took a slow breath. I thought you were weak, she continued. I thought ambition meant climbing over anything. And now I know it means knowing when to stop. I felt something shift inside me. Daniel, she whispered, do you hate me? No. Why not? Because hating you would keep me tied to you. Tears filled her eyes. Do you ever think about us? She asked. Sometimes. And I remember who I was. She looked confused. I was afraid of being ordinary, I said. So I made you my proof that I wasn't. That's not fair. It's true. She wiped her cheek. Do you still love me? The question hurt, but not the way it used to. I care about you, I said carefully, but I'm not that man anymore. Her voice trembled. If I asked for another chance. I felt the old pull for a second. Then I shook my head. You didn't choose wrong, I said gently. You chose what you valued. And that cost me you. No, I replied. It showed me who I needed to become. She cried quietly. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel triumph. I felt peace. Take care of yourself. Lily, I said. You too, she whispered. We walked in opposite directions. Victor's empire crumbled slowly. Lawsuits piled up. Former allies distanced themselves. His interviews stopped. Marcus showed me a headline one morning. Lang under federal review. Karma works quietly, I said. Ryan texted me once more. Thank you, he wrote. For what? I asked. For not destroying her when you could have. I wasn't trying to. Sophie sent a brief email. You restored balance. I replied, we all did. Harold continued mentoring me. Remember, he said during one meeting, power is loud. Integrity is steady. I'll remember. Evelyn and I started walking by the ocean on weekends. You still carry it? She asked one evening. I pulled the engagement ring from my pocket. Yes. Why? It reminds me. Of her. Of who I used to be. She nodded, ready to let it go. I looked at the waves rolling in. I think so. We stepped closer to the water. You don't need symbols anymore, she said softly. I held the ring between my fingers. For a moment, I saw the hallway where she left me. The trash can, the framed glass, the boardroom table, all versions of me. I thought I needed revenge, I said quietly. And I needed growth. I threw the ring into the ocean. It disappeared without a sound. I exhaled. Feel lighter? Evelyn asked. Yes. I watched the horizon. The day she left me, I said slowly, I thought my life ended. But it didn't, Evelyn replied. No, it started. I slipped my hands into my pockets and felt nothing weighing them down. I thought I needed revenge, I said, more to myself than anyone else. But what I really needed was to stop being afraid of being small. The day she left me, I lost her. The day I stopped chasing her, I found myself.